I like that I never fully know what art is. And sometimes you get asked a question like, is that good art or is it even art? And my kind of response to that often is, I don't care. My response will be sometimes, is it interesting? And then if the answer is yes, then the follow-up question is why? And if the answer is no, then the follow-up question is still why? My name is Matt Distel. I am the Executive Director at the Carnegie in Covington, Kentucky. I was an art history major, so I have an art history degree from Miami University. I started off organizing exhibitions. I hesitate to use the word curator, although that's what I ended up kind of becoming. I like to say I curated about 4 or 5 exhibitions before I knew what a curator was. I just kind of started organizing exhibitions of putting together shows of friends of mine who were mostly grad students or art majors at Miami University, and I didn't know how to access or get to art galleries. I didn't know what those were or how to find my way into those. So what I did was I had a friend who had a nice house, so I talked them into letting me take down all of their art, and I put up the artwork of my friends, and we thought that was a fun way to kind of have a conversation around what I thought was really interesting artwork that all my peers were doing, all my friends were making, and unbeknownst to me, that's what started my mini career as a curator. A curator in a museum, a larger museum, more literally means to care for objects or care for a collection. I do sometimes tend to use the word organize instead of curate. One, because I think it's a little less pretentious, and 2, because I think it more accurately reflects what I think I'm doing, which is just putting interesting objects in the same room together and then putting interesting artists in the same room together. So that's essentially what I think a curator does, is put these things together and provides new context and new ways of looking at different types of artwork. I like to work with artists from this region, artists from this area, the spaces that I live in. When I was in high school and junior high, my favorite subjects were always art. My favorite teachers were always the art teachers. I really enjoyed the process. I really enjoyed talking about the art. I enjoyed every aspect of being in art class. And then when I went off to college, I was like, well, that was fun. I guess I got to go into business. So I went to Miami University and started studying marketing because I thought somehow that might be creative in some way. I actually went home after my sophomore year, and told my parents, I was like, you know what? I think I want to switch to art history. And my parents, I love them, they said, what took you so long? What I like about art, the thing that has always kept me engaged with art is that it's a moving target. Every time I think I know something, it changes on me. I don't know that I carry with me any specific definition of art, nor do I even necessarily feel like a need to differentiate between art and something else. People like to use a phrase like, oh man, that's art, even as if it's something that's elevated to another, like a higher level. But I like to think of art as being integrated, and it's part of everyday life, and it's not art is up here and everything else is somewhere else. I think that's one of the things that can kind of make art feel elite or unattainable or something that only few people can understand, and it's not that for me. I think it's not that for a lot of people, and it's something that everybody should be able to sort of feel and understand and feel comfortable talking about or expressing an opinion about, especially galleries, which are intimidating, and museums can be too, because they're these white walls, and that's where art is art, big capital A. I like feeling like art and everyday life are integrated in the same space. Each gallery I've ever worked in is something different, and that's another part that I find really fun. It's just like art's a moving target, so are the spaces you work in. Getting all the artwork in one place, seeing how and this object, this painting looks next to that sculpture, and then moving it and seeing how that thing looks different next to that thing now. And if you're an artist doing that with your own work, that's also a really interesting thing, and you can learn new things about your own art by putting one painting next to another and saying like, well, what does that do? How is that different? And that can be formal, it can be about color, or it can be about the ideas in those things. You can do that with your work and a friend's work. That's also kind of an interesting thing to do. All of those things can be part of a process of discovering more about yourself as an artist. If you're not seeing the work that matters to you out in the world, put it in the world. I think the same can be done with music or film or whatever it is that you're interested in. To learn more about art, if you want to learn more about it, get that peer group around you. Find those other people who want to learn more about art. See if you can find those folks. They're probably in, if you're taking art classes, if you're in art class at school, who are those other folks who want to go to museums or want to go to these galleries? See the work that you are interested in. Find out what your tastes are. Find out what they are. Go to those spaces. Be present in them. Where are the galleries? Where are the museums? Where are the small spaces that are showing the work that you like? Be present in those. Like, go to their openings, go to their talks, go to their performances, whatever it is, and find your peers there. And ask questions, just talk, and eventually you're going to be sharing your work with them, their work with you, and you're going to have a dialogue. I think another job of an artist, honestly at any level or age, is to, it goes without saying, I guess, but it's to make art. So it's to just, get in your studio, whatever that may be for you, and make stuff. And I think that involves a certain amount of, exploration. Again, whatever that means for you. That could be on the page. That could be, with a material. That could be, research online, research in books. That could be reading. It could be listening to music. Whatever that is, but whatever it is that informs what you make. And I think that that's an important thing for an artist to keep moving, keep that mind active, or the hands active, or whatever it is that activates you as an artist. And I think that's important, is to sort of keep that moving. Momentum is important for an artist, I've found. From my experience, when an artist stops making things, it gets very hard for them to pick it back up. But the ones that find a way to, okay, I can't make the large sculpture I want to make, so I'm going to do small drawings. Or I don't have a space to make the big paintings I want to make because I don't have enough money for oil paints right now. But they're online, they're reading things that are going to inform the next painting they make. Those are the artists that are they're gonna keep making things no matter what. There are more careers in the arts than being an artist. It's a huge field. If you like the art classes you're taking and you like being around art, keep being around art.